I'm bored. Amazon library because I don't have money for food. We got this. Catholic Christian Church. Oh, Catholic Church. Oh, so David Ledesma's upset. He's like, she's not even gonna hear her please de mamá de la teta, esta. Y entonces te damos tu dinero o le dejamos que la gente te dé dinero. Porque they possibly have guns to people's head, getting in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate everyone that gets in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate David Ledesma. They live to disrespect. They're so gross. Ew. I'm bored. I only have 75 cents in my USA account. I have like 50 cents in my wallets. My food stamps won't be deposited until the 25th. I'm bored. Don't know post. O él se cree que porque yo entiendo el concepto de lo que me está explicando. So, if you press on this character, I'll talk to you this certain way. Oh my god, a great to I'm very quiet. It's hard to object to their stupidity right to their faces. I've said that before. It's not that I'm in agreement. It's that it's hard to laugh at them and object to their stupidity. With how dumb they are. They're trying to make it seem as if Edgar's controlling of me when he isn't. To blame Edgar for my death. This leech asked Edgar decades ago to not give me money so I can flee so he can rape me. El tipo es un puerco, una basura. I pride myself that I've never had sex with that. De lo puerco que es. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? There's no such thing as first dibs on my vagina. And everyone knows it. These leeches are so gross. These leeches are so gross. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? In the meantime, I plan to travel by myself and with Jade and Kaylani. I could have picked up Kaylani from school today. I could have taken a Pilates class with her. What else? What else? What else? What else? I could have drawn with Jaden today, or cooked with both Jaden and Kaylani. In the meantime, my vagina has groupies and they starve me on purpose by stealing my money and getting in the way of me receiving money. trying to, give my vagina a compliment when I'm not seeking a compliment from my vagina. And I don't ever want to talk to those leeches. This leech acquires groupies of people that want to rape me. They're disgusting. They're disgusting. I'm tagging the FBI in this post, NATO, Interpol, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the Justice Department in the United States, the International Criminal Court, even though the International Criminal Court exists, I'm seeking the death penalty for Sonia Varela Chapman. I'm seeking the death penalty for Benjamin Suarez and his sons that raped me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. I'm seeking the death penalty for Horacio Rivera. I took my kids' hostage again. They're disgusting. They're disgusting. Para recordarme que Clarissa se lo mama. My biggest pet peeve when one of my relatives was trafficked, possibly in San Antonio or another place, and they would talk about how people would suck dick illegally until those vouchers showed up for the person that doesn't illegally prostitute herself or himself. And I was so annoyed that people in my family of origin were doing that. And he's like, that's what we're doing to you. Biggest pet peeve for never taking me out on a date. And people who would call entitlement of what es una basura. Ew, ew, ew. He killed Gloria Nilsson porque nunca le hizo un regalo. And he possibly talks to people with a cigar or a pipe and is like, I killed Gloria Nilsson because she never gifted me anything. Thanks for the gift. I have a brand new car. This guy just gifted to me. He extorts out of gifts. He extorts people out of gifts. Dan un asco, gente. Dan un asco. Una basura. Una asquerosidad. Ew, ew, ew. They're terrible at gift giving too. They literally, if they could grab this from the screen, they would take it and give it to whoever. Oh, they're acting like they have so many death penalty cases in a desperation as if like this is the last Cliff Bar that they'll ever see in their life, hopefully, if they're watching this. And then they want to grab it and give it to la que le mamó el pene. Like, si me muero ahora mismo, gracias, gracias. A ti nunca me mamó el pene, so aquí tiene. So that's like how we're going through my taquito maito. Ew, 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 ew. Ew. Anyways, I'm tossing an egg later. What else? What else? What else? I'm gonna eat at First March tomorrow. And I don't have money. Who's giving me money? What, what else? What else? I'm so bored. I'm so bored. What else? Ugh, excuse me. Does he literally interrupt meetings and say, Aline, just bring now, excuse her? And they're like, Aline, here's my dick if you're asking so bad about it, girls and guys. El tipo es un puerco, una basura, una asquerosidad. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? But that's not entirely true. That's just because in their death penalty case, if this goes to court, people can't be commenting for the most part. Maybe a random comments occasionally. Mostly it's just what else? 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 They're stupid. They're stupid. What else? 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 You can decapitate my homies when it's the sons that rape me and steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. That's hilarious if these leeches have been talking about me for decades already. 4 decades. And I have not gone on to find out one single comment of what they say about me ever. They don't exist to me. They don't exist to me. I've just documented on Facebook.com who I'm seeking the death penalty for, who I'm killing in self-defense for stealing from me, taking money. It happens. I've been told. Anyways, that is so pretty. What else? 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 I'm bored. I'm bored. Alright, so the library closes at 8, so I've had to have it delivered to my apartment because I don't have electricity there. And I'm doing this also to stay sharp. Excuse me, I just burped. They're after stealing my artwork that I currently have in my apartment. That's why they steal money and get in the way of one receiving money. They're like, bueno, le cortaron la luz, si no te... They think they were going to talk to me privately and tell me, si no te vas del apartamento quick, eres un animal viviendo allí sin luz. Así que para un homeless shelter donde eres menorita y nadie te puede hacer el amor. You plan to mock me behind the scenes that I was at a homeless shelter like a little girl? Possibly. They're disgusting. Ew, 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 ew. Ew. They're disgusting. Ew, 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 ew. I'm bored. I'm bored. I don't want to leave to a homeless shelter. Someone could give me money right away today. And I could pay my electricity bill, pay everything that I need to pay, and buy everything that I need to pay for myself to make money. What else? 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 If anything, they want me to get cancer. This is my phase where I'm a dog. To them, but I don't have electricity in my apartment. I just sleep there, basically. So this is the phase where I'm a dog to them. And then they're like, okay, okay, okay. ¿Cuál de ustedes quiere que yo lo ponga en cadena? To pretend to be early. Wait. I need to use that for my kids. Ew. And they're all like this. So, okay. Does it have electricity in her apartment? What do I do with the money that he sent me to date him? Arlene has no electricity in her apartment right now. I'm just looking for ideas. What do I do to satisfy my man? Arlene has no electricity in her apartment, so I'm just like, okay, so what is he after? Raping her? Yeah, maybe this lipstick. Anyways, what is he after her artwork? Maybe, oh my god, if he sells all the artwork that she has in her apartment, then he can get me another house in Cabo right next of the house that I already have in Cabo because I never told him that I would have two houses in Cabo. What else? 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 You can decapitate her means the sons that rape me and steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Liam Baker. You can decapitate everyone that stays in my homes without my permission, steals my vehicles, gets in the way of me receiving money, is trying to kill me. They're disgusting. I don't go on to find out privately what they say. They're so gross. Yeah. In the meantime, I've painted quite a lot. I have it listed on eBay. I have money to market it. But that's usually what they're after. They call it like the highest, most expensive toilet paper. And they're like, se te olvida dar un canto y que me anda mí. What else? What else? What else? What else? That's what they do with my embroidery. They're disgusting. They're disgusting. They're sex traffickers, human traffickers, very dangerous. They've killed millions of people trying to rape me. Ew, 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 ew. Ew, y todos se apuntan for the most expensive toilet paper. Ella pintó eso y no, yo puedo pintar mejor. They're so disgusting, gente. They're disgusting. This by myself while I wait for me to receive money. Much better activity for me than listening in to what any of these leeches say about me, Jaden Keglani. They're disgusting. They're not women. They're not men. Ew, 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 ew. They think they're the cool kids that no one can be in their club and everyone wants to be a part. They just take hostages. They're so gross. Ew, 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 ew. I want everyone that stays in my homes without my permission, steals my vehicles, gets in the way of me receiving money, and steals my money to kill themselves today. It's April 22nd, 2025. Chop, chop, boys. Chop, chop. What else? 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 I'm bored. I'm bored. I want David Ledesma to kill himself today. I want Benjamin Suarez Lorenzo's sons that rape me and steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money to kill themselves today. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Want everyone that has bullied me through Facebook or Messenger to kill themselves today. It's April 22nd, 2025. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Ain't no wonder on my birthday. I only have 75 cents in my checking account. What else? What else? What else? What else? I want tacos and I can't afford them right now. What else? 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 I missed Dana. This Canoni didn't give up. Dana didn't give up. Canoni. I'm financially responsible for myself. Dana Canoni. I have no money. I'm a victim of theft, genocide, abuse, sexual harassment, rape, a hate crime. I'm really pretty kind. What else? 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 That's all the money that I have. I need a new wallet. And 50 cents. 1, 2, 3. What else? I'm bored. I'm bored. I'm bored. What else? 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 I miss dating. I miss Canoni. What do I want delivered? If you give me money through PayPal right now. What's this thing? My siblings are waiting for me to take them to Disney. His suggestion that Leach trying to violate my rights. It's like, why don't you do the trade off? That's why they separate one's children from one. They're like, she needs to go back to her parents' home and raise her siblings. She can't have her kids with her. Well, and then when she's taken Evelyn, Marilyn, Gilbert to Disney several times, then she can have her children back. That's why they killed with a new son. So I take my siblings to Disney as if I'm their mom. And they'll try to force me to have sex with my mom. They're disgusting, una basura, una asquerosidad. Esto es un puerco que me roba mi dinero, que me ha violado. Es lo peor que hay en este planeta. Ew, 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 ew. When I'm financially stable, I plan to change these cities somewhere. And date people ideally polyamorous. What else? What else? What else? I'm bored. What do I want that isn't Mom Madeline? But it's because I haven't ordered there. It's like keep looking at it like that's my top choice. I don't really like the food there, and it's vegetarian for the most part. What I order some days. What else? 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 I'm bored. That's Jason's Deli. What? What do I want? Five Guys, maybe. What is that other place? Hooters or P. Terry's? What else? I've been to Willie's. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm bored. I miss dinner. I miss getting money. Shaking my titties, some people give me money today. That's April 22nd, 2025. You can give me money in person through PayPal. It's AR Blue Sky, blueskydesigns.com. En lo que estoy pensando, straight to my heart. Arlene Lorenzo Art, Shop INTAYIAFAY. Entire shop. GoFundMe.com/F/Arlene/Lorenzo. Oh, to some people, but not 8 billion. You know about me? They're like, oh, so the terrorists, that's what they look like? And he's still alive? No, I wants to get to the part where one's screaming on the internet, what if we're putting one? It's like, and here's the and here's the terrorist, and here's the terrorist, and here's the terrorist, and here's the terrorist. Stealing from me, staying my homes without my permission, stealing my vehicles, and getting in the way of your same money. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm bored. I will start today, and David is not gonna write me. Yay. What else? What else? What else? What else? I will start today, and then I have to hear Gamino's gonna say, Gabby's insecure. When you get your money, please don't shop a la cantera. Get if her friends run into you there, then I'm gonna have to hear her. Hear her? He doesn't just. Say how she's less than you. And feels bad about you shopping at la cantera. You can decapitate Claudia Gabriela Martínez Urias. Un problema menos para Gamino's They're disgusting. They're disgusting. And some people say, really? Gabi is insegura or to Tamboleto you didn't get the husband title? Not even. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? And he will be getting it. Ew. And anyone that would be trying to force me to do that. Beautiful baby daddy, like everything that I expected as a baby daddy. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm bored. I want food delivered to my apartment ASAP. Who's gifting me money? Do I want McAllister zombie? Do they have to be particular? Or maybe other options. What else? 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 They have us. When they ran like nobody else. It feels like please don't make it confusing. And I'll try something. What's Steven doing? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm bored. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Where are the soups? If they have any soups. I get a vehicle ASAP too. They were expecting a wedding. They know such thing won't happen and they fool people. They take advantage of my kids. No, es que mira, tu mamá está enamorada de un hombre y no se recuerda quién. Oh, nunca te he dicho el nombre de... One less chance that the kids will accuse us of doing something wrong in court. They're always gauging, they're always probing. Those leeches that I grew up around, they're disgusting. Okay, Jada and Kelani, by the way, it's more than one that she's married. What would you wear, Jada? What would you wear? And what are you wearing, Jada? No te gustó que te digan what are you wearing. Ni en texto. So no te puedo decir like WYD. And you sexy thing, Jaden. No te puedo decir you sexy thing tampoco. Avanza, avanza, Gustavo, avanza. Keep in touch with her. Gustavo, en lo que yo voy. Y le digo a ella, le voy a hablar con los nenes, voy a hablar con los nenes Jaden y que empiezan a llegar de Victoria's Secret de compra. Y algunas de estas te gustaron. Avanza, avanza, Carlita, diciendo que te hambre todos los días, que no tienes dinero. Y no queremos la pena muerte. Si cogemos la pena muerte va a ser con gusto ya. Porque le destruimos la vida a Jerry que Nani, ¿no? Carolina, ponte panty roja, que mañana vamos a tener un meeting todos con ella. Y tú le vas a bailar a Jenny Kelani y vas a decir, mira, Jenny Kelani no pueden protestar. This is the gift. In fact, your mother paid for it porque Carolina le robó el dinero a tu madre. So, Carolina hoy le va a bailar a Jenny Kelani en panty rojas. ¿Quién más? Pero tú no la has visto a ella bailando en panty en Brasil. Well, okay. Coming soon, J.D. Keilani, avance. ¿Qué esperan? No pueden matar al niño. Anyways. Some instructions. Edgar, déjanos en group chat una vez más con J.D. Keilani. O 2020 o 2016 o 2017. Desde que se enteraron que ya J.D. Keilani no vivían 24/7 conmigo because I didn't have money. Yo voy a ser tu primera mujer, Jaden. Before Jaden was born, they're disgusting. I've suffered so Nisha, so I did exactly what she asked me not to do. I'm like, you're gonna be the godmother. ¿De tan puerca que es? Ew. So Jaden's possibly Ike first también. Porque Jaden has been to sleepovers where se quedan nenes y nenas. Or so many parties where quizá una de estas dice, a mí me metió dedo subiendo para el carro. Y aunque no me lo hayan metido, yo tanto porque some of them grow up to be that way. They're like, ya mami jode tanto de que Jaden es tan lindo, Jaden esto, Jaden lo otro, que yo le digo a mis compañeras por si Jaden es virgen, hay que salvarlo. Mira, no, si Jaden subiendo esa escalera me metí dedo. A ver si mami se calla la boca de que si Jaden tan lindo este, Jaden lo otro, bla, bla, bla. They're disgusting. They're disgusting. They're disgusting. So they're like, no, pero antes que le des dinero a tu mamá, Jaden, tú tienes que ver esto, el before and after. Míranos a todos aquí con ropa. Y mira este videito en comparación. Todos nosotros, excepto Jaden y Kehlani, desnudos fornicando, ¿verdad? Jaden, ¿cuál te gustó desnuda? Kehlani, no te gustó ninguno de nosotros desnudos. Alfonso, no se nadie puede matar a alguien. OMG, no se muere de hambre tampoco. ¿Cómo vamos a violar a este nene y a esta nena? Ok, aquí tengo el tag team duo que Jaden y Kehlani las tuvo que ver más de una vez. Aquí voy yo porque ya perdí la paciencia. Where did it go? Pues he's not even here. Oh, ya está muerto para mí. Posiblemente that happens. Pero I want to estar dando cantaleta con la misma foto over and over again, después no lo añaden. What else? 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 I'm so bored. I'm so bored. Jaden, yo soy tu primero, soy tercero. Me dijeron que ni Carolina bailándote te enamoras de mí, no me has visto. They're sex addicts, so gross. They're sex addicts, so.
We'll be closing in 20 minutes.
What else? What else? What else? A Berlín ya tiene donde la conocieron en 2018. Y ella le dijo, bueno, tú sabes cómo la enamoré a él por si tu madre te ha dicho algo. That's so embarrassing. I'm done. Ew. Where's his picture? What? What else? Él le robó el dinero a tu madre, la violó. A tu madre se le fueron las nalgas de starvation. Yo me puse en distro y yo soy la más espectacular del planeta. Estos nenes didn't think that they were gonna live past their one breath. Apparently, que went through una asquerosidad de tiempo. Que anyone que le enseña un fucking gistro is a fucking god to them. Tanto agradecimiento. Dan un asco, son una basura, una asquerosidad. Y. Ew. You can decapitate my homies, what is the sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate these leeches that most likely have invaded mine, Jaden's and Kehlani's privacy by starving me, transferring Jaden and Kehlani to Edgar. Like I can't afford them. He has all my money. Y ella prostituyéndose ilegalmente a Jaden y Kehlani, desnudándose, presentándole, recordándoles que existe, para que cuando Jaden y Kehlani quieran perder la virginidad, los tomen en consideración, pero así mismo, con esta plegaria de, por favor, Jaden, queremos ser. Ew. They say that dating is just for American people. Oh, they're dumb. And I don't money for coffee right now. You can decapitate my homies, what as soon as the sons that rape me and steal my money and get in the way of my money. I'm ending this live video on my laptop and then I'll be back on here. We're getting bored and I don't have money.